So that's it. Those kind of.
We were there. Oh, you were out there. You were out there. But 600 retreaters. So many, and it's adults too, and like we cleared out $205 and partner is gonna be super fast. Yeah, so next year we're gonna go big. It's great because like our house is and my house is nice and only faculty or garage and temporary staff and bonus.
Okay.
And so he had this car.
Okay, everyone, we are at 6:30, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank y'all all so much for joining us. So the first meeting is going to be the Easton Park Residential Condos annual meeting. So I'll have let's flip to the next screen. Polly. There he is. So we'll have our introductions, the board meetings, and we'll approve the budgets. Then we'll go into our town hall meeting, community team life update. We actually have an extra thing sliced in here. We have a Marina from Tree Folk going to give us a little information about some trees that they're doing here. So, and then it goes on into the development update and the questions. So let's go to the next slide. So who we have up here, Brookfield Residential Development Team, AJ Zorn. You guys know the Director of Land. Michael Lobo's on the phone. Mike McMillan is not here at the moment, but he is the VP of Land and Housing Development.
He's somewhere in deep West Texas with no cell reception.
Oh, deep West. And then now we have our board of directors for Easton Park Residential Condo. We have our first resident member. This is Laura. So yeah, we're very happy to have her here. AJ is the president and Allison is the VP and treasurer. When we get to Easton Park Master, Laura is not on that one, but it'll be Michael Lobo who's the secretary then. So everything else stays the same. So flip to the next screen. This is your community life team. Myself, I'm Colleen Thomas. I'm the executive director. Angie Castro is your community operations manager. We also have John LaRoque, who's the director of community asset management. Paul, who is in the background at the moment, helping out with the online visuals for everybody who's out there online. He is our director of community engagement. Danielle is our community engagement manager. Chris Sandoval, which you guys probably all know. He's the guy who does ACC and all the compliance. Emily Pollard is our community life coordinator. And then we have a new ambassador out front, new but returned. She was here before. Her name is Rosanna. So make sure you say hi to her, and Victoria. We have Ramiro, who is our lead porter, and then Raul and Sandy, who are under him as porters. So next slide. So now we will officially call to order the annual meeting for the Easton Park Residential Condo Board meeting, and it is 6:32. And would you like to call the meeting to order, AJ?
I call the meeting to order.
Okay, second. Okay. We do have quorum. Our proof of meeting notice is right next to it, right there, that went out. We want to review and approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting. So let's flip to that. That's from the last meeting, which was February 28th, 2024. So Matt Chase was here, Allison was here, Tiffany was here at that time. So everything was called to order. They established quorum. Tiffany showed all the 2023 annual meeting minutes for review. And then it was a very short meeting. Looks like it was adjourned a few minutes later, 10 minutes later. So next slide. This is the financial report for Easton Park Residential Condos. The one on the left there is the operating budget forecast. So that's based on actuals through the end of September, and then it's projected outward from that. You can see the total revenue is about 168.8. Expense categories are going to be about 181. So there's a little loss there of 12 grand. But as we go through the rest of this year, we'll probably see a little change in that because we'll have less electricity and all those things that tend to go down in the fall. So for next year, we are going to raise the dues for Easton Park residential condos it's actually just $1. And you guys have a pass-through, they call it, landscaping, because for every unit, they actually get their landscape done. So instead of 26, it's going to go up to 29. If we do have any residual from that, we want to put that back in reserves. So if there's anything extra at the end of the year, that's what we do with that. So with that amount of money coming in, the projected revenue should be about 215 grand, and the expenses should be about real close to that, 214. So there should be a little bit of a net from that based on this budget. So let's move to the next slide. Oh, so we need to approve that budget. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from last year.
Thank you. Angie keeps me in line. So now for the budget.
Make a motion to approve the proposed budget.
Okay, everyone said aye. So with that, we'll adjourn the meeting, AJ.
Make a
Sound
motion
good?
to adjourn this meeting.
It is 6:36 p.m. That was a short one. The next one's not so short. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, please. Now we're going to call to order the Easton Park Master Community Board meeting and annual meeting.
Make a motion to open this meeting.
It is 6:36 p.m. Moving right along. Definitely have quorum with you guys here and people online. There's 43 online. That's great. So we've established quorum. There's our proof of meeting notice. We want to go on to the meeting minutes now. Next slide. Here you go. Yes.
First it's laggy. Yeah, it's up on there. It's on there.
Oh.
You're good.
So this is from 2024. Same people were here. Meeting was opened, about 6:31-ish. And then they went through the same things that we're probably going to do today, which is to just go through the financials and take a look at the budget, and then it would be adjourned. So it's simple.
I make a motion to accept these minutes as stated.
Okay, next slide. So this is for Easton Park Master. Again, the one on the left there is the 2025 budget forecast. It's based on all the way through 8/31/25, within the rest is projected out. The assessments this last year were $71 a month. You can see the total revenue is about $3,268,000. The total expenses are going to be about $4,435,000. And you're probably going, well, what happens? What happens is you guys have subsidies. So the developer takes care of the subsidy, which is about going to be right around $1 million. And then the next one on the right, that is your operating budget for 2026. There will be a 5% increase, as we have actually projected that out last year. So that takes you up to $75 a month. The revenue for that will bring in is about $3,628,000. The expenses are going to be around $4,749,000. So then you can see that $1,120,000 is what the developer will subsidized. And this is, of course, more people moving in, but you get more stuff. Skyline Park, more parks coming online eventually down the road here. So let's move to the next slide. Oh, let's go back once. Go back one more. Sorry. Sure. Yeah, and that's all that has to do with engagement and also taking care of all the amenities, all the parks, all the pools, skyline, the splash pad. You guys actually have electricity and water because you have a lot of common areas. And if you wanted to have a really defined, a more deeper dive, I'll show you later. There's on Engage, it's our Enumerate, it's our website. You can actually go there and every single month it's posted.
Okay.
So you can take a look.
How is that a revenue though? Yeah, that's kind of my question. It was no revenues.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was getting ahead of myself to tell you about the expenses. The program and amenities, we have rentals for renting the space. We don't do a lot of money for programs. I think you do have a few things that you actually generate revenue from.
It's primarily the reservation rentals. So whenever people reserve these rooms or park pavilions, that would go under revenue. And that's the primary number that you'll see reflected there.
That offsets our expenses. Yeah, that offsets our expenses.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we need to approve this budget.
I make a motion to approve the budget.
Okay, approved. And then we're just gonna adjourn this portion. That's more of the technical stuff right there. So well, no, we can adjourn at the end, I guess. Let's
I'll
wait
return.
right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and
I make a
adjourn
motion
this part.
to adjourn the master community.
True, because now we're moving into the town hall, which is a little more
That's
informal.
just fun.
Just had a
Nothing's on the record.
Just a follow-up question to the budget. Obviously, it's still, what, about 10 years away before the homeownership takes over completely?
You get to about 75% of the total build out and you'll get your first board member. Which right now we're at about,
So, or less than that.
no, less than that. The last number I saw was around 2,300. So that's about, we're gonna be up to what, 12?
The 7,000.
Oh, 7,000?
Yeah,
I
well,
thought build out.
the multifamily doesn't count as. individual.
Okay, so about 7,000. So
Just like looking really long-term as we lead up, approaching that, a few years away. Can homeowners have a little bit more input on the creation of the proposed budget? I know that no homeowners currently sit on the board of directors, but I feel like it's gonna be integral to have homeowner input as we're getting closer, because I feel like we're gonna wanna beef up our reserves going into that changeover, because or else our monthly assessments are.
and we do have reserve, and we just did a full reserve study. And so we do have that planned. When in that budget, you'll see that that there's a certain amount for reserves, and every year we look at that and try to increase it. Not too crazy, but we want to keep adding that up.
But looking at the loss and looking at where we're at, a little bit concerning for me. Just knowing that I don't want to be paying $300 a month in
Sure.
monthly assessments in 2030.
And we'll repeat the questions for those online, so that way the mics up here can pick up. So the question that Colleen was responding to was a statement of concern of as we get closer to homeowners taking over as board of directors, as we get closer to fuller development, just concern over the reserves that are currently there, and just making sure that that is beefed up prior to homeowners taking over. So then that way there's adequate.
Yeah, and that we do look at that. We actually just got that big reserve study, and they do tell us how much we need to get in there every single year. So we're trying to follow that really closely.
Yeah, so that's, I want to be clear, the developer's not sitting there with the thumb on the scale, trying to drive this thing close to a cliff. And then when it gets taken over, then all of a sudden there's the cliff there waiting there. Like she was saying, there's an audit that's been done that's like somebody that comes in and looks at standard practices across multiple, master planning communities, kind of lines it up. And if anything, they're sitting there saying, hey, y'all should actually beef up the reserves so that you're not leaving problems unstated. So they actually look at our entire, everything that we maintain, everything we project to maintain, and sit there and go, hey, you have this one thing coming up. Every 5 years, you realize that kind of thing needs to be replaced. You should have this much money set aside for all that stuff. So that's the practice that we follow, is a lot of taking recommendations of a professional coming in and saying, this is what keeps you on pace. Well, and we're also professionals. And then we add our parts of what we think is going to be there. As a developer, we have a projection of where we're headed. And so Colleen has a budget that then matches that it goes along. So as a developer that is supplementing $1 million a year,
Well,
we're gonna have our thumb on the scale a slight bit until we finally even out to where we're not subsidizing the neighborhood and stuff like that. So I think we're along those lines of when we get closer to a handover, there, not that y'all will have more input, but that will be a little bit more exposed on, like, explaining out what it is that, why we're doing exactly what it is, and stuff like that. But whenever, yeah, we'll move to that. Right now, it's just, there's a lot of things that it just doesn't matter right now for what we're doing. I know that you can trust us though. What we're doing is fiscally responsible. So.
Well, and we actually, I've done a lot of things this past year. When I came in, I realized there was a few things that really needed to be fixed, like the pool and, the plaster and some other things. And I have used a little money out of the reserves, but that's what it was. It's in there. It says you should have to do this by such and such a date. And it's like, yeah, we need to do that so that you guys' stuff stays in good shape too. Because I want to make sure that it's good, If you don't spend a little on it, then you'll pay later. I don't want to do that. I want it to be nice.
I had a question.
Uh-huh.
You said 75% done before we get one board member.
Mhm.
But I heard that we have like 11,000 homes and then it got switched to 13,500 homes.
He was saying that I was confused. Our total build out of everything is about 10 to 12,000. But
We buying more property?
No.
no.
All right, so of all those, I have to track a lot of different stuff. The 11,000 number, I don't know where 13.5 came from, never came out of my mouth. The 11 has been adjusted from the 12 we were saying at one point, it's closer to 11. Of the 11, about 4,000 right now is planned for multifamily. They only get one vote per unit or something like that. So those 4,000 apartment residents don't get full votes the same way y'all do. So take that 4,000 out of there, or take, 8 of them, how many?
So if we decide to build more multifamily, it doesn't include in the total build.
Correct. So we're closer to 7,000. We're somewhere 7 to 7.5 of total owned properties in Easton. So that's what that 75 was built on. No, we're sitting there at 2,500 homes out of,
oh, 25.
let's call it 7,500 for good math. We're a third out.
Okay.
Yeah.
33% to 75.
Yep.
okay. Next slide.
We already adjourned. Those questions don't count.
Yeah.
No, that's why I waited.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Andy.
Now I'm going to turn this over to Danielle because she's got a lot of information to give you about community life.
Yes, as Colleen said, I am Danielle. I'm the community engagement manager here. So I work specifically in programming events and I work with our community clubs. I see some familiar faces and also manage the reservations that we talked about for our amenity spaces. So on this slide, you see a lot of the fun happenings that have gone on since we last met. And there are a few items on here that actually all of them are repeat events. So that's always great to build out legacy here at Easton Park with our programming. So we are featuring our Music in the Park series, which happens 4 times a year. It's essentially our way of bringing what is quintessential Austin, which is the music scene, right, straight to your backyard. So we'll bring out different bands and local artists to come out and play here at the Union. And we do bartending service, food trucks come out for that. It's a great time. Like I said, we do that 4 times a year. So keep an eye out for that schedule for 2026. And then you also see on the bottom some fun monarch rings. That is from Roots and Wings. This was the 3rd year that we hosted that. Emily Pollard, who is our community life coordinator, actually manages that event and has done a great job nurturing it into what it is, which is a citywide celebration in Austin for Monarch Day and Arbor Day. So it's a great event with a great cause. And we also see on the very far right is our Move Mountains Artisan Market that just joined our community in July. This is a monthly happening. Every first Sunday of the month, this market will come out. There are a lot of Eastonite ran businesses that are featured at this market. So do come by and check it out. The next one will be Sunday, December 7th. The details will be on a later slide. And if you're interested in becoming a vendor, let us know, shoot me an email or Paul an email, and we can get you connected. And I really want to highlight Wicked Walk, which is our signature event. Happens every year. We are on our 7th rendition of Wicked Walk, and it has grown to be such a great event capturing the spirit and legacy of Easton Park through and through. This slide shows some really fun kind of behind the scenes look and in the moment snapshot of the event. So you'll see in the top left, that's Chris Sandoval, your community standards coordinator, building to the right that grand entrance that he's standing under. Below that is Angie, our community operations manager, and Emily building some of the decorations that y'all saw along the trail if you were able to attend. We have Raul and Sandy in the bottom right who were out here staining fences, just getting everything looking great for the day of. John and Ramiro also here, and then our great community partners that helped bring the event to life. So that's Carol with our 50 Trailblazers tribe who came up, showed up and showed out. Our local fire department was here as well. And then you may recognize that face in the top right, that's Colleen, who is dressed as the Queen of Hearts for the event. So we take so much pride and joy in getting to put on these events for y'all, but it's really nothing without people actually showing up to make it really what it is. So thank y'all for turning out in numbers and just making our job so fun. Here we have Rosanna. Colleen introduced her. So a little bit more about her. She did work at Easton Park a couple of years ago. Some of you may recognize her, but she ended up moving away and has made her way back to Easton Park. So a few fun facts about her. She is an Eastonite herself, so she is very tied to the community and very passionate about serving her neighbors. She has 2 cats, which she's trying to get them to go viral. So y'all follow, like, subscribe, all the things. And she is a big Harry Potter and Friends fan, which who isn't, right? But come see her at the desk. She is with our team Sunday through Wednesday at the welcome desk from 9 to 7 and is here to help with any homeowner happenings, access, and just general questions that we can support you with. Reoccurring events that we have. One of those is Del Valley Mobile Library. That has been a long-standing tradition. We snap from Moby, the mobile library. I love it. Moby joins us every Monday here at the Union in front of the flagpoles from 9:30 to 11. Raquel, who runs that, is so incredible. And a little history about Moby, the mobile library, has traditionally served underserved communities or brought a library to places that otherwise did not have a brick and mortar location. So just a great resource for the community. We love them. For upcoming events, the ones in green are those that have already passed. I touched on a few of those already. Coming up this Saturday is our Great Autumn Gathering. We would love to see you there. If you have not attended before, it's a great family fair. Because of the maybe weather, Mother Nature doing her thing this Saturday, we made the decision to just move it inside. So we'll be in the Costello and possibly the outdoor courtyard just off the front lobby doors. We'll have live music from a neighbor of y'all's, Eastonite Ryan Desiato. We'll have bartending service, serving up a hot chocolate bar with boozy options as well if you're interested. And then we'll have some sweet treats and face painting, balloon twisting, and family portraits with a professional photo backdrop and photographer. So if you needed to make your holiday card, now's a great opportunity to do that for free. Yes. Yeah, we'll have a backdrop that's actually created by one of your neighbors, Christina Jarami, who runs Austin Balloon Creations. She'll have a great setup there, and a lot of Eastonites have used this picture for their holiday cards for their families. So come on down. If people dress up, they dress up their dogs, their kids. It's really cute. So hope to see you there. And then Optimize Daily is a resident ran business. So another one of your neighbors puts together this great turkey trot. It's a great day for a great cause. So they do raise money for the Newton Collins PTA. So if you're able to make that donation to participate, it's greatly appreciated. And that is Thanksgiving morning. So burn off those calories before you dive into all the feasting that day. For December, we have our community cleanup put together by your Recycling and Sustainability Club that's on site. They do this every 6 weeks. So if you're not able to attend this one, we hope to see you at another one. They do this in partnership with Keep Austin Beautiful. And it's a great thing that they do, gathering together, placemaking, but also keeping the community looking great. We have our We Are blood drive, which we host once a quarter. Last time, I believed we helped save 57 lives, if I'm not mistaken, from the donations collected. So especially going into the holiday season, a lot of patients want to get home for the holidays too. So making that blood donation right before things really ramp up for patients getting those end of year treatments is critical. So your support is greatly appreciated. For Easton Made, that is another great longstanding tradition. Allison and her team, actually the Brookfield marketing girls, do a great job of putting together such a fun-filled day. Think Austin Bazaar Fair with a little bit of holiday flair. So the model homes that are down this street will be activated with different holiday happenings, holiday bites and drinks, photo booths, balloon art, all the fun things, inflatables all along the trail, of great Christmas tree lighting. It's just great holiday fun. Local vendors will be selling holiday little gifts and goodies. So definitely come see us and stop by. That's Saturday, December 6th, 2:30 to 5:30. And then our artisan market, December 7th. And then lastly, this is our active clubs. If you're interested in joining any of these clubs, do feel free to reach out to myself or Paul or the club leader. All of the information is on Enumerate Engage. If you go to your For Residents tab and groups, you'll be able to see these clubs listed there and contact information if you wanted to get in touch with the club leader. But you'll see some of the gatherings for each of these clubs. And my best suggestion would be to just keep an eye out on the groups tab on Enumerate Engage so you can see the most up-to-date information. If you have any questions about any of the clubs or are interested in creating a club yourself, again, feel free to reach out. We're happy to get connected and help connect you to your neighbors. And that is all I had.
And this actually just to let you guys know, if you're not on the website, make sure that you are, because you got so much information there. And you can actually report if you see violations in the community that you'd like to bring to Chris's attention, if you want to submit an ACC request. So anything that you do the outside of your house, always ask him first. If you don't need to, he'll tell you. But you'll see the calendar events. There's a community feed. There's actually a report on there that shows you how many violations go out for landscape or whatever. It's very interesting to go and look, and it's got all the documents as well and the financial reports. The next slide. This is what I wanted to show you guys, because this is all the stuff that we did accomplish this year. The pool, like I said, we actually got the pool shade. I can't believe it was, I feel like it was longer than a year ago. So we got the pool shade done. We got the umbrellas. We changed out the rocks. We got rid of the glass up on the upper pool and put in regular tile so we don't have that problem. Replaced carpets in the Costello and the library. We did a lot of repainting of the Union, not the entire thing, just where it really needed it. We replaced walkway lights in Bryant Park. All the kitty mulch at all the playgrounds was refurbished. We needed more of that. New light pole on Colton Bluff Springs, finally got it over there. AT&T fiber was installed. We had Spectrum before and we weren't really happy with the service or the quantity of people that could get on. So we got AT&T. We have 2 lines. It is much better. I wish it could be perfect, but I think we're about as good as we're going to get right now. And we're working on fixing that. We got an ADA ramp put in over there there's a sidewalk park that came out to the parking lot that never had an ADA ramp. So we got that. We had a couple of security cameras that weren't working well. We got that all updated. The alarm system works. So it's very, very safe. Gym improvements, we got a new rower and some dumbbells. And then I don't know if you guys even noticed, but all the fountains are working now in this pond and the one over in UPW area, which they weren't working before. So that was a lot of stuff that we got done this year. Yeah. Yeah.
What are the plans?
I'll let AJ take over because he's the mastermind
Okay.
behind getting it fixed.
There's just, there's some issues with the original design. And there are systems that are built in to keep it from failing on certain things. And so anytime one thing would break, it would trigger the reaction for all the other things to do. So what we did to keep it on board this whole season was we just bypassed some of the alarms and we overcycled things and this, that, and the other to just keep it working this entire time. We've identified all the problems and now we have a path moving forward to fix all these things while it's in the off season so that we don't have this problem again next year.
And will it function in the same manner?
It'll, everything to y'all will look the exact same way and it'll work the same way. It's just behind, the reason it kept going offline is because there's a leak over here, which caused a pressure sensor over here, which caused the UV sensor to default. And like, I mean, it's big
Right.
mess of stuff. It was design flaw, to be honest, and we're fixing the design flaws because it's out of warranty at this point. And so it's us coming in and just making it work for the neighborhood.
Okay,
So
great.
we're gonna fix it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're not gonna have a problem like we did last year. So we're gonna.
Yeah, we're done with that.
And the question was related to the splash pad and the repairs made. And that was what AJ was responding to.
We had quite a few town hall questions sent in. Some of them, we responded directly to the person. Some of them I sent over to AJ, which he'll go over later. And then these were a couple of highlights that I saw that I wanted to make sure everybody knew about. Because we've had this question about, if you have a stroller and you're walking down the sidewalk and what if there's a vehicle that's in their driveway, but they're blocking the sidewalk. So I had Chris, our ACC guy, our violations guy, answer these for us. So he said, no vehicle may obstruct the flow of traffic, block sidewalks, constitute a nuisance, or otherwise create a safety or accessibility hazard. So vehicles that extend over sidewalks can prevent safe passage for pedestrians because then they got to go out into the road. So we don't want them doing that. So you can read through the whole thing, but the bottom line is, please be aware of that. Be thoughtful of other residents. If you're gonna have a big party, it's hard. But if you can, instead of parking on the side, in the driveway, blocking the sidewalk, you can park right in front of your own home on the curb as well. So, and he said that any kind of, while management may assist with concerns, immediate issues involving traffic violations, vehicle safety, or pedestrian access should be reported directly to local authorities for enforcement. These are public roads, so you have to deal with that. Unleashed dogs, and we've been working on this for a while now, trying to get that taken care of. We actually have called animal control a couple times for things. So, just make sure that your dogs are on a leash, please. Even if you think your dog's very friendly, it may run up to another dog who is not friendly and is protecting their owner. So just because your dog's friendly, you can't assume somebody else's dog is. And if you see someone who does it consistently, unfortunately, we don't have someone driving around all the time watching everything. So if you see the same person doing it all the time with the same dog, take a picture, let us know where they live. We'll send them a very nice note. We're not nasty or mean, but just to kind of get their attention that this is a problem. With increased water restrictions, can we remove lawn maintenance requirements? I thought that was a very interesting question. The answer is no. Because of course, with the restrictions, we keep that in mind. If you guys are under a water restriction, we're not expecting you to have a green lawn. We're probably going to be wondering what you're doing if it is, right? You can hand water. You can water on the days that the city tells you you can water, but it's other things, you can't get rid of all requirements because there's like weeds, you can still get rid of weeds and
Weeds can be treated during a drought.
Yeah.
And lawnmowers turns out also.
still gotta do it. So if you're struggling though to maintain your lawn under current restrictions, it just says, please contact our office for additional guidance. Chris is the sweetest, nicest, gentlest, most patient guy I've ever met. He will work with you if you're having issues. Just give him a chance. Iron metal fence coverings, how much can we cover? Well, he said, you know what? There's so many different fences. There's so many different sections. So the best thing to do is just to ask him directly. So send him a picture of your fence, tell him what you want to do, and he'll work with you. Okay.
Yeah,
Might
I'll,
just,
I'll just lean into that one. By and large, vegetative coverings are what would be acceptable. Hanging a tarp on your metal fence, not gonna fly. There's a lot of options out here. Chris knows what they are. Work them through the ARC. Okay, there's a lot of things that were designed intentionally a certain way, and going out there and deciding you're gonna make a privacy fence where there's a metal fence, not happening. Like, you're not gonna attack something, big sheet metal across the side of your house, or a tarp, or a bunch of that other stuff. We take them case by case. But, a lot of the stuff was done on purpose. A lot of stuff was done under fire code. There's a lot of things like that that go into that and the aesthetic we're trying to get. So if you've got a question about what you can hang on your fence, go to Chris. He'll explain it to you. So we have some other options with a few different cases that come up that we're looking at and working through about what can be a blanket kind of acceptable. Hey, Chris, if you get any of these requests that fall on these lines, we can work through them that way. So we are trying to provide options in places where there's not a lot of ripple effects, but there's a lot of things people look at their house and say, couldn't I just do this? And the first thing we do is, what if every person did the thing that you just suggested on every metal fence that's out there? And then quickly it becomes, this would look really tacky, or it would be, overall, no one wants to stomach that. That's why we still take them on a case by case. We don't just blanket deny them. But we take them on a case by case because that's the question that we always ask ourselves is, okay, we said yes to this and somebody else wanted to do it on their lot, but their lot is a lot bigger and a lot more and a lot this. Would it look awful? And the answer is usually yes. It would look, everybody would hate it. So that's how we make all these decisions in the ARC and with the board, is that we have to apply the idea of, if we set precedents with things, if this is going to be okay, is it something that we'd be okay with this happening across the board? There's going to be some issues with things that were grandfathered in. Honestly, things that were approved 2 or 3 years ago that people invested money in that were approved. And if we're going to make the aesthetics of certain things work better, we do draw a line in the sand and saying from now on, we're not going to allow this because we think it's to the better of the community. And there will be times that you will go back into time and go, but these people have this. And the answer is it was approved legally through the ARC years ago before we set a standard that could be addressed. So I know that's frustrating when you see something that you're just like, well, how come they were allowed to do it? Because it was likely approved before a standard was set. We set the standards to, we say this all the time, to maintain property value. To maintain aesthetic so that whenever people come into this neighborhood, they go, we'd like to live here. We don't see blue tarps attached to the side of fences to present privacy and stuff like that. So that's our mindset whenever we go through things like this.
yes, sir.
Talking about lawn maintenance, in our home, in our block, we're right next to a path. And from the fence, there's a slope where it goes down to the path. Well, during the recent drought, there's been areas where the grass is totally dead, it's dirt. And I don't know at what point should we notify people? You can see the runoff of, for irrigation or whatever, you're seeing rows of dirt being eroded away.
If you talk to me after this meeting and show me exactly what you're talking about, we can address it. Yeah, because I'm thinking about that nonstop. The question for the people online was, there's areas behind homes where they're next to trails, but there's areas in between that aren't irrigated. When they run out of grass, then things start to get dirt and start to erode. That is exactly what I'm focused on. So you talk to me afterwards of exactly where it's at. We'll address it.
One other question. About a week ago, we had someone trying to break into our cars along our drive. And it's funny because every house has cameras and we saw that it was 4 a.m. And I don't know if there's something or a place we can report, or there's a place where Easton Park says, okay, there was a robbery here, or you need to watch out for here, because we had some recent incidents.
Yeah, we actually, and we've had the sheriff's department, they were asking about, someone attempting to break into cars. You can't, we do want you to report it. You go on to Travis County Sheriff's and
Yeah,
I can send you. Like a neighborhood watch. Yeah, well, I think that it would be nice for the residents to have a neighborhood watch, and then we did have them talk about it at the last, when the sheriff was here for Pilot Park, yeah. Did you guys, did you
Anything you
guys,
don't want to establish, it's totally up to you.
yeah,
The developer and the HOA aren't going to get into security. We talked about that multiple times. There's liabilities there. There's also funding that we're not there for. The answer is Travis County Sheriff's. If you want anything above Travis County Sheriff's, if you want to self, collate and come up with a neighborhood watch, totally on it. We had it
Is there a
happen.
neighborhood watch now?
Anything you establish. I know Pilot Park's got one.
UPW has one.
UPW's got one, and I know Discovery Park's got a dude's text where when the same thing happened 4 days before Christmas, where people came into all of ours, everybody got on it, and then everybody said, we'll be out on our porch the next couple of months with,
There's some that you can put it.
we're not gonna do that because then the HOA is getting into establishing certain levels of care. And the HOA identified this, so and so, and then it gets into gossip and things that stuff. So we're not gonna do that. It'll be self-identified, self-organized. We think that's great. Outside of that, our official stance gonna be reported to Travis County Sheriff so that they log every incident.
But just to add to that, from our personal experience with Pilot Park, we expressed to the HOA that we would like to establish a neighborhood watch. And the HOA was able to coordinate with the sheriff's office to arrange that face-to-face meeting. Then it was up to the neighborhood to rally the troops to show up and have that meeting with them.
yeah, we can give them the contact.
So if you're truly interested in that, just reach out to Paul, Colleen, Andy, and they'll coordinate with the sheriff's office.
What the gentleman in the audience is saying is that the HOA did help broker the conversation between a self-identified group in Pilot Park of having a community watch. Once they organized, then having that conversation with the sheriff's office. The HOA will do that once it's organized and there's some kind of plan. Yeah, we can definitely bridge that gap to get the sheriff on point.
Follow up. I started the one for Union Park West. We had 5 meetings, 3 of us with the sheriff. Our challenge was we had this space in the Union to rent for a couple of times. It was extended that we could be in here, but because we were just our sub condo neighborhood, we weren't allowed to keep having meetings here because it's not open to the entire community. So I think from what I've done, just running it for Union Park West is if we had representatives from each neighborhood that decided, yes, we're really gonna lead each team in each neighborhood, then you could have community meetings in the building because it represents every neighborhood. But you really have to have those team leaders and street captains and the whole way it breaks down. So really, it just takes someone being really gung ho, which we love doing in Union Park West. I now have a home in Skyline, so I want to start with the Skyline. But in order to have meetings here in the building, which with AC, that's huge, because with large groups of people, it seems like we're gonna have to do it on the community hold up.
The comment was from a homeowner of UPW where there is an established neighborhood watch and also suggesting that other neighborhoods also mobilize a neighborhood watch. So that way a community neighborhood watch meeting could be held on a regular basis at the Union. That would be pertaining to all communities in Easton Park Master.
Good point. Next slide, please. Oh, of course. Okay.
Well, just to let you everyone know, we have Marina from Tree Boat.
Yes.
Who's gonna talk to you a little bit about what is being done in our community. AJ was gonna do that, but he actually.
Yes, and I'm sure he'll probably want to say something once he comes back.
Okay.
We are introducing Marina from Tree Folks to come and speak to the community.
No, just kidding. Hi, everybody. My name is Marina Wacker Ramirez. I am the reforestation and GIS manager at Tree Folks. If you're not familiar with Tree Folks, we're a nonprofit. We've been in the Austin area for at least the last 30 years, 36 years, in fact. So we're very well established. Usually most of our programming can only operate within the city of Austin proper, but this year we're doing an exciting collaboration with y'all at Easton Park. So I'm just going to tell y'all a little bit about that. Next slide. Yeah, so this year we're partnering with the developers at Brookfield to do a planting here through our Central Texas Floodplain Reforestation Program. That program operates in Travis County and the 6 surrounding counties. But this year, y'all's planting area is our single largest one for the whole program. We are planning to work with y'all for the next 3 years or so. So if you look at this map, A and B in that top section, that's going to be part of this year's planting. Next winter, we'll move on to C, D, and E, which are south there on Cottonmouth Creek. And then the following winter, we're going to be planting, it's kind of difficult to see, but F, or yes, yeah, G, F, and H in that little crescent over there. We are prioritizing working in the floodplains. For the first 2 years, especially, we will exclusively be planting in the 100-year floodplain area. So we're not taking up any areas that other development or amenities would be going in. Next slide. Here's a more specific view of the planting that we're doing this year. So we're going to be planting south of William Cannon, and then that little section north of William Cannon. You'll see I'm actually coming out tomorrow morning. A lot of pink and blue flagging tape. If you've seen it already and been wondering what's happening, we're not cutting trees. People have thought that in the past. We're going to be planting trees. So if you see that pink flagging tape, that's what it indicates. We're also going to be deploying these things called Groasis boxes. They're a water reservoir system. A lot of the trees, some of the trees are going to be on irrigation systems that are already established. Some areas do not have irrigation, so we'll be putting these boxes out. They act as a passive water catchment system, so if it rains, it'll fill up with water. The trees go in the middle of that donut, and there's a wick at the bottom, which will just water the trees just a little bit. Not that they become dependent on the water source when we take the boxes away, but just enough to get them through the hardest parts of the summer, put their roots out to find a more permanent water source. Another cool thing about these boxes, they really are a remarkable technology, is that the lid, I think it's a Swiss company, so it's super over-engineered. The lids will promote condensation of dew. And so even if it hasn't rained all year, the boxes will be full of water, which is extremely cool. I think we're going to be putting about 400 of those out this winter. Next slide. If you're interested in ways to get involved with this project and Tree Folks, we're unfortunately not doing a volunteer planting this year. Next year, we might, if you want to come out and plant trees in some of those other areas. But if you're interested in, getting your hands on some of the trees that'll one day go in your parks and neighborhoods, you can maybe point and be like, oh, did that somehow, somewhere along the way. We do have volunteer work days at our Tree Folks nursery. We just started about 1.5 years ago our own native tree nursery. So all the trees that we're planting, well, not all of them, but the vast majority are of a really, really hyper local seed stock. They're very well adapted to this exact environment here in Central Texas, and they're grown in-house. So if you want to go touch some dirt, you can do that. We also have a native seed collection program. So if you know of a tree that you love and is doing well and thriving, and you just want to spread it throughout all of Central Texas, you can collect those seeds, send them to us. We'll grow them out in a nursery, and then maybe they'll trickle their way over here sometime. And then we also do other volunteer community tree plantings throughout Central Texas, or throughout Austin. We do them. So you can check our website to figure out information about those. They're really fun, family-friendly events. You can bring kids, you can bring your grandmother, you could bring your dog. No, you cannot bring your dog. Sorry. Sorry. And then maybe next year we're hoping to get a planting on the docket with the Easton Park community so that y'all can do that here. That's it. Next slide. If you have any questions, yes. Oh, great. Great, great. Okay. Yeah, are you talking about the ones that were planted a couple years ago? So we haven't planted any trees yet. So I don't know who you need to talk to about that, but it was a hard summer. It was a really hard summer, you know? Yeah. I do have one thing to add real quick, which is that when we plant our trees, we plant really densely, but we expect only about a quarter of them to survive. So we are planting saplings. They're only about a year old. They're about between this big and this big. And so after the first year, you probably will see a lot of dead standing twigs for the first year. Don't freak out. I promise that some of them are, you know, lying dormant, especially over the winter, and they're gonna come back up to full glory.
I was just commenting on the city had, and I think about how all the areas are treated. And it is the goal was constantly, and we just constantly put things in the ground. Some things can be irrigated, some things can't be irrigated, some are limited to this, some have to be this. A lot of it's just checking the box because they just won't let us out of perpetuity and certain permits unless we do what they tell us. So we just do what they tell us. And then some of them survive, some of them don't, whatever. When we reach out to them to talk through this whole initiative, it's because we are so limited
Sure.
in what we're allowed to do in this areas. But tree folks is buddy with the environmental people. We'd love to get on board with them to do this thing. Then they said, it's free. And they should be out there doing all stuff. So that's what's this perfect marriage of us connecting those dots, that there's this great group out there that wanted to do the very thing that we as developers have been wanting to do, but it costs a fortune if we do it on our own, and it costs a lot of time and effort that we get shot down from the city if we try to come up with a new initiative. Since this is already something that they understand and agree with, then we did not have to sell them on our idea. There's a lot of work going on in Cottonmouth right now. That development that's all out there is for the city. They want us to dam up the creeks. That's a part of them restoring the area. That's what they told us. Some stuff makes sense, some stuff doesn't make any sense. To me, at some point, we are at the mercy of the city environmental telling us how Cottonmouth Creek should look. So what you see happening out there right now is specifically prescribed by them of what that area should look like. But on top of all the things we did with the city of Austin, we're coming back in for tree folks to just everything that's restricted. We said tree folks just have at it, just give it new trees constantly in there. So that's the answer there.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I just say something? So we live on that State Street where you live, and that slope. And when we first moved here, I loved it because they had wildflowers all spring.
Mhm.
And now it looks like a golf course, but now the grass is dead and it's getting a lot of
Yeah.
erosion. So it broke my heart that there's constantly mowing that hill and there's no more wildflowers.
Tell me it's that happens.
Yeah.
Now, so the thing I know is a lot of things like that first class.
But what I can tell you on our end at least is that we are not seeding ourselves, but in our specific planting areas, we're giving Brookfield we're providing a bunch of grass and wildflower seeds that are going to go in those areas also. So now we're not just planting trees, but we're trying to take like a whole system approach. We're planting high biodiversity. We're planting I think we're planting like 36 different species of trees. A lot of those are pollinator trees. They have some really wonderful flowers and they smell nice. So.
Because you had, our resident friend told us they were going to sue us because we didn't mow or.
One person.
But the part about tree folks, that we all understand the agreement we have with this, we give them acreage and it's deed restricted. So this isn't just like a fun initiative. This is a thing where we actually dedicate land to them, where there is a financial penalty for me ever coming back in and developing. This is land that we said, we want to dedicate it to them. They said, we're only going to come if we get 30 years of y'all never messing around here, so we can actually get treated happen. So that's the commitment we made with them to do that.
And then on the reverse of that, if we do this planting project and for some reason it doesn't take, we don't want to just hold you on the line, you know, for a project that kind of didn't work. And so we are also committed to like ensuring that the planting works, and we'll come back and do recurrent replants if we need to. That's fine. That's really fine, as long as it's not more than 20 feet wide.
Already established, but it's already established.
Yeah, and I,
We're only dedicating stuff that we already know we're not doing.
and we got the plans for all of the trails that are gonna be weaving in and out of that, and they've already been edited out of our maps as it stands. And then, yeah. No,
Okay, the question was, where did that tree along the trail of the park go? That whole pond area is actually being pulled out because there's going to be another pond adjacent that. It's the water pond for Slaughter Lane. It's that we knew that the bulldozer was going to come in the next 30 to 60 days to take those all down. We went ahead, yanked all those trees and put them other places. So that is just getting
that's great.
bulldozed. Because we kind of saw it coming, realized we had good trees there that were safe.
We walked in them one day, walked again.
That whole tree ring around Eaton is gonna change because there's gonna be another pond adjacent to it that is what all the water from Slaughter is.
For those online, the comments from Marina and AJ were in response to concerns about what was already existing there, be they plants or life trails. But those plants have already been reworked to incorporate what was already existing.
Any other questions for me? You can also, oh, I'm really happy to be here. It's so fun working with because usually we work with individual landowners. And so that's like, I love working with those people. They're fantastic, but getting to like have the impact be broader than that and have more people benefit is really exciting and meaningful to me. There's my email. If you want to shoot me an email about anything, feel free. There's a QR code to our website, to the Tree Folks website. You can check out all the volunteer opportunities and events that we have going on. It's tree planting time, y'all. It's the season. Celebrate.
Oh,
But I've been in schools for about a year and like, I'm so excited that my worlds are playing. So.
And Tracy
Also asked.
Tracy is getting the money to help, is getting Tree Folks the money to get you all the trees. So good job, Tracy.
For those online, we met Tracy, who is a fellow neighbor Eastonite and also works with Tree Folks.
All right.
Next.
Okay, I think I have 4 minutes to go through my entire update. And that's no problem, because a lot of these things are repeats, get a lot of the same questions. So a lot of the material we're going to present tonight is things that I've already talked about through here. So for the retail strip that's there next to the CVS, all of them are open except for Chiba Hut, but I know they're doing hiring right now. They built out the inside. I walked through it the other day. It's coming, and then that whole strip will be completely open. The medical offices, which are going just outside of Model Road, right there at Colton Bluff and William Cannon. I know that they're getting pretty long with their permit, so I think they're actually going to break ground sometime in the first quarter next year. So I think that's coming very soon. I know that 2 of the 4 buildings they are going to build have been leased out already. So I know they're proceeding with 2 buildings. As soon as they get the horizontal work, they're moving through with that. So that's coming along great. It's going to be right over here. I'm excited about it. I think I can't remember everything, but I mean, it's an emergency room and it's a kid this and it's a, physical therapy that and stuff like, I mean, it's going to be a lot of good assets that we have sitting right out here on our main corner out there. The parcel south of the CVS is the same stuff I told you last time about the gym, Quick Lube, coffee chain. There's another pad that's on McKinney Falls that we're still trying to find some of it. They're still trying to find, it's not me. But a lot of cool names floating around of what that might be. So I'm hoping for something awesome. And then they're also going to have 2 more multi-tenant buildings like the one that's over there with Chiba Hut and enamel and stuff in it, that they're looking to fill those things. We get that question a lot of time with Brookfield residents that have small businesses or change or things that they think should be there. CLD Realty is the broker that runs that. So if you got ideas or you have a business or have a friend that has a business that they're looking for a small entry into a strip center, those are the folks, their signs are out there, contact them and you might find them being a tenant here. Commercial parcels along Slaughter. I'm telling you, we're in the middle of a pretty big deal for stuff on 183 and Slaughter. Of course, we're over a year from closing on that deal. So as much as we're very much into it, have been for a year now, We're not gonna announce anything. If you look around the internet and know where to look, you probably find a lot of names and things, stuff that's already out there. But, you know, y'all know my rule here is I don't announce anything until somebody's actually purchased something from us. And we can say it for sure. I'm sure once it gets closer to that, you'll see they're advertising more than us, but goes along with what I'm saying is like, as Slaughter comes in, we're gonna get the retail that everybody keeps talking about, needing to hear and stuff. And then we're also working on deals that are on the west side of the neighborhood where Slaughter is gonna, where Slaughter dead ends right now. There's parcels on either the north and south side that we're working on deals there. And then Refuel is our neighborhood convenience store, gas station. Somebody asked where it's at, so that's the map that's there. If you go down William Cannon, right before you get to 183, Coda Vista Cross, and you can see where the Primrose is, Coda and William Cannon. Refuel's right there. There's an excavator parked out there right now, so they broke ground last Friday. So looking at them flat to do that pretty fast. And so by this time next year, they'll be open probably way sooner than that. Other development updates, Slaughter Lane, it's gonna be starting any day now. I know I said that the last time, because I believe that to be true. There's this other legal agreement, long story, got into the thick of some stuff that we're on our way out, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We had to put the road closure on a court agenda because the county makes us do that. That's why there were signs that said it would be October 1st. Did not happen October 1st, but we don't have the flexibility to move that around because the county's not nimble like we are. So the notices went up. It's gonna get shut down sometime, probably in the next 60 days, not October 1st. So that's the story behind that. Pilot Park Phase 3 up on the hilltop, that all got completed. So I know that we're selling lots to Brookfield and Perry in that, just like we've done in the other two sections. So that's gonna move forward. The county has a project to expand Thaxton. We've been talking about that now for 3 years. They've had their own issues. We worked through it with them. We've talked through it. We stay abreast of this. And now they're saying probably Q3 of next year is when they're gonna start. So it's a far cry from 2021 when they told us they were gonna start. So that's Travis County. That's when I think they're gonna actually start widening that. Say again?
Increase the number of lanes.
Yes, so whenever you go down McKinney Falls and it turns into Thaxton, it goes from the 4 and the shoulder to nothing. It's gonna keep that same 4 shoulder profile with actually no median, but a turn lane in the middle. And that's gonna go all the way down a little bit past Sasser. So that's a county project. It's been on the docket for a long time now. They're going to get through the rest of their permitting this year and stuff. They have a longer bid process than us. They're hoping to have awarded it by May or June next year and starting soon after that. So that's the best we know.
Sorry, I'm new to the neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am.
Closing down.
What's closing down?
There's a street.
Apogee, when it goes to Sassman, that's gonna shut down at some point where you can't go south on Apogee because Slaughter Lane is gonna, that low point on Apogee, right before you get to the stop sign, that's where Slaughter Lane crosses. So when Slaughter Lane starts to get built, that whole piece of Apogee is gonna get reconfigured. It's just a little bit, that's gonna end just a little bit south of Skytex. So you'll be able to be on Skytex in Apogee. As soon as you go any further south than that, that's where it's gonna be blocked off. So you're not gonna be able to leave the neighborhood south on Apogee.
Ever again?
No, during construction of that place of Slaughter. Yeah,
yes.
then it'll be fully built out and then instead of going to Sassman, you'll get on Slaughter and just take that out of the neighborhood.
Oh, so like how many months you think, no, south bound egress from Easton Park?
It's gonna take a while to build it, probably 17 months. It's a big chunk, it's a mile of road. Yes, ma'am? Sir?
Office coming in right here.
Yeah.
Will Easton Park have any say in like the aesthetic of that build out because it's so close?
Yes, we have a different ARC that worries about the aesthetics of the commercial that goes in here. And we've already reviewed that area. And we have Gensler, they're the top architects in town reviewing it. I've seen the drawings. It's gonna look fine. It's not gonna look like crap. It'll look really good. We told them it had to look good because it's right here next to all our good stuff. So it'll be fine. And then Paley Park, that's the condo units that are going, that's that first neighborhood sitting on Slaughter. It's right south of the Kiki. That's completed now. There's a question, is that gonna be Brookfield only like it has been? The answer is no. There is a second builder partner. They have not signed their contract, only a term sheet, so I'm not gonna give that name. But once they close on that, that'll be an announcement that comes from our marketing department of a new partner builder that's gonna be on the condos. Next slide. William Cannon, west of us. I don't own that project. People ask me about that nonstop. That is a city project. Everything that we're hearing is it's a mid to late 26 opening. Okay, I cannot do anything with those 2 lanes that sit in front of CBS until they open the stuff west. So,
They should be considered, and it's gonna close the other side.
well,
They were gonna start it.
Welcome to-
north of the city.
so, but yeah, no, in all honesty, so that's the story of William Cannon. We will open those lanes as soon as there's something on the west to match up with. Coda Vista. They, all right, let me be real quick with this one. Somebody said, last year you said, well, you have to come to a town hall every quarter, because I've updated this every quarter. So you can't just go back a year from now. There's been a change in the law of how permits get handed to us. They used to have to reply back in a timely manner, and they used to not be able to add new comments once they gave original comments. Legislation got changed, that went away. What we've had happen is every time we got down to the last final piece, the county and AWU has come in with a new idea that's completely thrown us off and set us back at least a month, and that has happened on a monthly basis. By God, I think we're gonna get the city approval by the end of this week. Then I have to work paperwork through Travis County. So last time I said November at best. I think we're gonna have a permit in November, start construction in December. That's what I code a connection. I hope. That's my plan. That's what's happening. So that's the best information I have now. Finial Drive is gonna then dead into that. The county's not gonna change anything with Hillock and Finial. We talk about that every town hall. Nothing's changing there. The problem is still people do not know how to stop at a stop sign. So the idea that having 4 stop signs instead of 2 is gonna fix a problem. I'm so tired of getting questions from people saying, if y'all only put in 4 stop signs, number one, I can't put in stop signs, the county can. And putting in 2 more stop signs is not gonna help people learn how to stop at stops. We know, we hate that intersection. It will get better once things happen. We have to let the process play out. If you don't like the process, you have to talk to Travis County. It's nothing that I can do. I've tried. Construction traffic that comes in through the east side of Prospect Park on Flatbush. Once we connect Coda Vista, my hope is that people take that because it's a big, nicer, wider road. Can I restrict people from coming in and out on Flatbush? No. And there's a conversation, everybody asked me, can we not get the subcontractors to obey the rules of law? I don't know if y'all been out there. I am not a cop. If I follow somebody that doesn't stop at a stop sign, am I going to go up to their truck and pull them out and confront them? No. If I follow them to a site, they are a sub of a sub of a sub. I won't find anybody there. We cannot police this. Yes, we talk to our builder partners. We have them talk to their subs. We should follow the rules. We should follow the law. If you see something illegal happen, report it to the county sheriff. They're the only ones that can enforce legal rules. I can't. The HOA is not going to. It's frustrating. I know. It's a lot of stuff that's so far out of our control. We do as much as we can. But the level of concern coming into some of these questions, can't you do this? The answer is we can't. And somebody said, just saying talk to the county is not good enough. Okay, then I'm not good enough. That's the answer. You talk to the Travis County Sheriff Department. They are the ones that our taxes go to enforce security. I'm not going to go approach some guy. I'm not going to go knock on his door and confront him and say, you have now broken my law. It's not happening. So sorry. I feel like I just got on the soapbox there. Just telling you, a lot of these questions saying that Brookfield's not doing enough because we don't care. That's not the case. Okay, there's limits to what we can do. All right, bike lanes exist. I got a question. Can we put bike lanes in Easton Park? Okay, school crossings around the school. I didn't understand all the questions about, can we get people to not park in a crossing? Can we not do that? Officer Collins sits out there and mans a lot of that stuff. I don't know if y'all know Officer Collins. He's a policeman that sits there and like tries to maintain that during morning pickups and afternoon drop-offs. I know that there's a lot of parents that now work the crosswalks differently. There's a lot of those things that if it comes down to signage or painting, that has to go through Travis County. And we've done all we can with that. There's a lot of stuff established as far as enforcing people to not park in biking lanes or crosswalks. Again, yes, sir.
Similar maintenance crossing to the might be a county issue. I'll accept that.
It's ready.
I'm sorry, I can see the look on his face. County.
Yeah.
Skytex and Apogee inside Kiki Park or inside the Skyline. The crosswalks are faded, there's sometimes there. Cool.
Yeah, faded crosswalks. At this point, there's some that we do during our 1-year warranty. And there's other times we get out there and paint things specifically. But in reality, we're not legally allowed to get out there. Sometimes I do it for certain reasons and I skirt the law. I don't want to do that anymore. And also, we're not funding it. It's, if you got it.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then, there was a question about William Cannon 183, that median lighting it up at night. Because if you're not looking where you're going and you're northbound on 183 turning into William Cannon, you might cut that corner. I'm gonna look into it to see what I can do. I don't own 183, that belongs to the state. I don't own William Cannon, that belongs to the county. So I'm gonna see what maybe I can do as far as trying to push them towards something or do something that's not super dangerous, that maybe we light it up. But I get really nervous about lighting up an intersection on my own because then I have now broken the law and taken on liability as a developer. So we will ask the county if there's any way that we can add lights maybe to the intersections, talk to the state. I think it's doable. I gotta work that and see if they get on board with me. All right, next slide. Said it was gonna be fast. So slow. All right, we're assessing amenities. Yeah. Now I had a bunch of comments that we don't know how to do our job and everybody can do it better. So that's cool. But we're doing a great job and we're moving forward with that. As practice, we're not going back to old sections necessarily. Things in some of the older sections, if we want to add that to it, that's something that has to get brought up through the HOA and we roll that into the budget of now existing maintenance. The second amenity center, the only change on here is that we haven't moved forward with RFPs out to a handful of designers. We're going to have them come in and we're going to decide that before the end of the year. So then January, actually start designs for the south amenity to move forward. So there is a timeline. I don't want to give it out right now because Lord knows things changes, but we've been talking about moving forward with this stuff. It is moving forward for sure. Trails, we had to find the cost-effective lights to be able to get that done. I literally have a bunch of stuff that we bought on Amazon all strung together in our office right now, and we're going to go out and bury it and try it out and see exactly what works. I think it's going to. We have not had the time. We were waiting for the time change so things get darker sooner, so we can all go out there and not spend our entire nights trying to bury this stuff in the ground and figure out what's working.
I thought the purpose of not having the lights was to just.
We are trying to get to where it is beacon lighting, so it's not trying to light up the trails to where it's like you can see everything. But if you are trying to navigate the trails at night, you can at least have enough lighting that you got a path that you can get down the road. So it's gonna be, that's the thing. That's why we have to go out there and field test it, because I need to make sure the spacing between the lighting makes sense for that exact reason. These are not gonna be huge broadcast lights. This is more of, so you're not just stumbling through the dark, that you have beacon light.
The question was about the type of lights, but we are 11 minutes over time. So if we
Yep.
can hold questions until the end, that would be great.
And what was that? The Treehouse Food Park, we don't own that. Okay. And we've asked the county to enforce parking in the bike lane, and they disagree that it's not a travel lane. I don't know what else to tell you. We've hit this 20 different ways, and the county has their opinions. We can't control the bike lane in front of the treehouse. By the park, trash can. Long story, but I think I talked to my PM that day and said, hey, can you just put in a trash?
I saw them. And I was like, they're doing this the day of the HOA 6 months after they said they would order one. Literally something.
Well, we were, because it turns out that, like, I care about how we spend our money and if we can get reimbursed and things like that, because we don't just do stuff for free.
But what-
We thought I had a way to do it. So yeah, we ripped out a trash can from some existing place that people don't use, and we're putting it over there just to make y'all lie.
No, they did. Why didn't they just do that 6 months ago? That's why I'm.
Because they had a better way of doing it. But, you know, squeak you will. So y'all are doing great coming here. All right, bulletin boards. Y'all are the only park that doesn't have a bulletin board. That's part of a larger rollout that I'm behind on. That's my fault. And there's no plans for a North Trailhead signage. So there you go. And last but not least, pet waste stations. I say this every time. I have like 20 of them in a Connex. If you think you need a pet waste station, talk to the HOA and we'll just install it like 3 days later. So anytime you have an issue with that, please send that to the HOA. We'll go stick them up. And that's all I have.
Very good. That's a lot of information. Okay, so I don't see any questions offline or online. So we're gonna go ahead and end this because we went really long.
I make a motion to stop time.
So if you think of anything else, we're still here. Send us an email, let us know what you're thinking. We'll get it back out to you. I had someone ask me questions. Kaylee, I think, is here. I said, send it back and forth. So we try to make sure that we get the answer to you as fast as we can. Okay. Thank you so much.